Hello there, I'm Gwen. Thank you for joining me for my ongoing quest to create my perfect World of Warcraft house. In this series, I walk through the steps of how I got started. I document my trials and tribulations in making my visions come to fruition. Thank you for being here. It means more to me than you know. Now, let's make it ours. We left our last episode placing our house. I would like to keep with the theme of working from the outside in and actually start working on the yard, but we're going to work on the yard from the outside in as well. At this point is where you need to decide, how would you like to frame your house? Typically, you use the front door as your focal point to welcome people into your domain. I personally would like to use a fence rather than trees and plants because I tend to go a little overboard. And unfortunately, with the exterior of the house, your placement decor is only $250. That's your budget, that's your limit. So getting really, really detailed and really intricate and turning a lot of different things into what they're not, we're going to have to try to keep it a minimum because we only get so much to spend. So, in my case, I decided to do a fence. You can choose whatever you'd like to do. I searched the fences that were available, and the way that I did that is you normally start off on your storage here, so you just go down here and you click on your catalog and you get your featured, what Blizzard would like you to buy. But then you can go and search fence, and then everything that is considered a fence will pop up in the search bar. Now, looking at the different fences, a lot of them look great, but I really love the style of the Veldraken fence. My concern with the Veldraken fence is it's silver, while the trim on the house is gold. Incidentally, silver happens to be my favorite color, where I do like gold, but if I had to pick, I would pick silver. And while I was doing my research on what fence I wanted to go with, I neglected to pay attention to this little paint board right here. That tells you that this particular item is dyeable. When there's not one there, guess what? It's not dyeable. But unfortunately, I did not catch that before I already spent the time and resources making 35 fences. And yeah, I didn't buy any of the mats. I farmed them all. Lesson learned. So I'm going to stick with that fence. So I'm going to go over to my storage and pull out the fence that I want to use. And then I want to start in this corner right here. And actually, I should address why I would like to start with a fence or a border. So, there's going to be a few constants, or anchors as I like to call them, that you'll go ahead and you're going to lay down, and then you're not going to change them once they're in place until you wipe your whole theme and start all over again. Those are going to be your anchors and what you're going to design and add things off of. Your house is one. The frame of your plot is another one, because you're not going to be able to move the frame. The property line is the property line. So I would decorate your property line how you want it and try to make it something that you're not going to change later. Not saying that I'm not going to lay this fence down and then decide, nope, I hate it, we're going to do something else. But we're gonna go ahead and do the fence. And then, so like the fence, and I would say if you want to do a pond or a water fixture or a gazebo, those we call hardscapes in real life. So I would actually refer to them as hardscapes in the game as well. And those are kind of like the permanent fixtures that you put down and you're not going to move and you're going to build off of that. So I'm going to use the house and the fence right now as my anchor points. So I'm hoping this fence works out and I'm not going to change it later on. The other thing is, I know I would like to do an entry, but I want to kind of build my own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start the fence in 2 different corners, because I know no matter how well you measure it out, they're not going to line up exactly right. And you're going to end up with some overlap. And unless you want to sit there and like lay it out a million times, play with the scales and see if you can get it to fit perfectly. That's a lot of work. So I would recommend just to go ahead and kind of plan the general area where you would like your entrance or entrances. And we're going to meet there. If you happen to have 2 entrances, then I would probably try to find the middle point and then just build off the middle point and the end points. What I mean by that is I will show you. So I'm going to start in this corner. I'm going to go ahead and pick another fence to lay down right next to it. And I am going to just stick with snapping to the grid and enable clipping. Now, snapping to the grid makes it way easier to lay down the fence. And just to let you know a secret, or maybe not so much of a secret, nothing is square in Blizzard decor at all. And it's not by accident. It's because when you try to get perfectly straight lines to line up all the time, you're going to see when they don't line up exactly, which makes it difficult to design around. So even though I really do like having the straight lines intersecting and all that good stuff, it actually works out better when things don't line up exactly the way that they should. So you kind of got to accept that. So with that being said, I am going to go ahead and lay out this fence. Oops. I am going to leave the entrance kind of near the cornerstone, just because I want to add a little, somewhat of a trail or something. I haven't quite gotten that far in my plan yet to go to the door. And then again, I would like to do something special with the entryway. So I'm going to put my entrance to my property probably right about here. So I'm going to call that good on the fence on that side, and I'm going to come over here and lay the fence down. I do want to make sure that it is in line with the yellow lines, so that way it looks straight all the way across, which I am in line with the yellow lines right here as well. So I'm going to speed up at this point, and I'll see you in a couple minutes till I get all these laid out the way I want them. I will be right back. Okay, I am at the end. I'm trying to get a good look. Yes. Okay, I see that there's a little gap, and that is probably going to bother me. So what I'm going to do actually is put the fence down here. And because it's difficult for me to get a good view, I'm going to go ahead and use the advanced tools to help me get it where it looks right. And then hopefully it will dead end right into the wall of the house, which it does. Okay, perfect. So now that we got our fence completely laid out, you might want to just double check and make sure everything looks kind of straight, which it does to me. Now we can start working on our entryway to our property. I absolutely fell in love with the Blood Elf light posts. I was so crushed because I saw these before the expansion actually dropped. Because I was just flicking through the WoW database catalog there just to look to see what was going to be available. And I saw these and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to work these into a build somehow, some way. And it said exalted with the Blood Elves, which I'm exalted with the Blood Elves. However, in the back of my mind at that point, I'm like, no, they're going to add a different renown for the Blood Elves, and they're going to call it something different, like the Shattered Sun or the Sundered Sun or whatever. And lo and behold, it crushed me. Yes, when I realized, okay, there is of course more renown to farm. And not only that, it's locked behind renown number 15. So that took me a little bit. Yes, so I want a grand entryway, so I'm going to make these things huge because I love it. And I'm going to go ahead and get them moved where to make sense to me. And I do kind of want them lined up. Right now I still have that grid snap on. I feel like this entryway, because of how tall it is, might be just a tad bit too narrow. So I can either take out a section of fence, or I am going to go ahead and hit the advanced tools and try to slide it in to cover up the fence. And then I want to make sure that the post itself is still on that yellow line, kind of centered, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to center this side. Because unfortunately you can't just drag things in a straight line like you can on the inside. They move at a diagonal on the outside. So we want to try to make sure we line them up as best we can, which I think that is pretty good. And now we want to make sure that no part of the fence is poking out. And actually I do want to move this a little. Oh, see, it started poking out. It's not poking out on that side. Oh wait, is it poking out there? Oh, it is just a little bit. Look! Just a little nubbin, no problem. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Oh my goodness. Okay, I want to select this one instead. It's amazing how things can somehow pop through sometimes. All right, and then I'm just gonna get right down in there and try to get it lined up with the yellow as much as possible. Double check it's not poking through. Great. And I just moved it again. Okay, hey God, we got this. We got this. We're gonna move it around, and I'm gonna get right in there and pop it right in on the yellow line, and we're gonna zoom back out. Oops, and there. Okay, that should be good now. Hopefully I won't touch it again. Okay. All right, I'm not gonna touch it. We're gonna now touch this side. All right, and then kind of get it lined up. Got to eyeball it a little bit, and as you can see, some of that fence is poking through right here. So we're gonna move it just a little bit, and that's unfortunate because now that is sticking through. All right, so we are going to go ahead, move this over a tad so that's sticking through as well. So now that's fairly even. All right, now let's get... Wow, this is not even at all. Okay, and there we go. And we got a little bit sticking out there, a little bit sticking out there. Nothing is sticking through. But this one... Oh, no! I moved it! Again. Yeah. It's so easy to do. Now, wait a minute. How come I was able to get... Oh, because of where I have it situated. All right, we're going to drag that on that line right there. But no, the little nubbin's covered. And nothing's coming through. Yeah, see, sometimes you just got to fiddle with it, and you're eventually get it how you want it. Alright, so with that being said, I guess I'll just fidget with it over here, right? On that one, and... Okay, yeah, there we go. Fence isn't through anymore, and... Just gotta move this one a tad bit that way. Oops. Alright. So difficult. Alright, that is covered, that is covered. Oh, but you know what? Let me... Oh, it's because I came out too far. That's why. Alright. See, trials and tribulations right here. We'll get it. Okay. I'll go ahead and let that show a tad. So we'll go ahead and do the same on this. Yeah. Almost looks right. Because again, nothing is square or exactly the same. And it's not by accident, but again, it's very difficult for someone like me to accept that it's not going to line up exact. But that's okay. We got this. We can handle it. All right, I'm going to say that's good. So to not touch it again, I'm going to hit escape. So now we got that situated. Zooming out a little bit, I do still feel like it might be a little tall for the width, but I think it's good enough. Because I think if I take out another fence section, it's going to be too wide. So now we need to bring it down a little bit because it's so tall. And how do we bring it down a little bit? Well, we're going to add some structural stuff to it, meaning some beams. That always helps. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it down, and rather than have it snap to the grid, I'm going to use the advanced tools. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, and I want to try to get it as centered as possible on the lampposts, because we're going to change the scale on that kind of thing. Once we get up there. All right. And see, are the lampposts... Because remember, the beams also are not exactly square. They're diagonal. And then hopefully... That looks kind of centered, and that does too. Alright, so I'm going to back up here, and then I'm going to use my page up, and we're going to move this up. Because this is going to kind of make it look... We're going to add another layer to make it look a little shorter. But I want to try to make it where it makes sense. Instead of just, you know, oh, hey, random board. Or beam, wherever. So first I would like them to... The beam is awful thick compared to how thick the posts are. So I definitely want to scale it down. And that was the reason why I wanted to try to center it as best as possible so there's less moving up and down later. And it looks like maybe we can get down to 85. Is it still touching? It's still touching. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit page up, because I would like the top of the beam to line up with the bottom of that gold piece. Alright, does look good. I'm gonna zoom right in. I am gonna cover this with lines and stuff, so if it's not exact, that's fine. But yeah, look, when I'm looking here, I think I need to come over this way a little bit. And again, you can't just go straight across. So sometimes that makes it a little difficult, but I think that's good. Okay. And from the side, it looks fine. I mean, there is a little jut out, but again, it's very tiny. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So I'm going to hit escape so I don't accidentally move it. And this looks pretty plain, right? It's very monotone. There's not a whole lot to it. That's okay. Don't get discouraged. Now, I just want to point out We are at 28 out of 250 of our budget, and we didn't even put a fence all the way around. That was the method of my madness, to not put a fence here or here. Besides making this look like part of the yard as well. Okay, so now we got our bare bones of our entrance up, so let's go ahead and make it more decorative. And I'm going to do that by using nature items. I got a couple of vines. I actually got quite a bit of greenery here. And again, you can do whatever you'd like. I did really like this creeping lace ivy. The only thing is, though, I don't know if I can stick it on there and make it look good. Because it's really meant for more off the corner of a house or something. So I'm going to try and use the advanced movement tools and see if I can't make it make sense. What's bothering me is how far it's sticking out. Now I can make it smaller. And put it up here. Which helps, but again, I don't know if I love it. Let's go ahead and leave it right there for now. And then I'm going to go ahead and put another one in to the other side. Now, one thing I would recommend is to, one, not put it down at the same angle. And if you can avoid it, putting it down on the same scale. So I did 75 on this one. So let's go ahead and change the scale to, let's go 80. See how that looks. And then I'm going to page down and move it in and over. Don't want to cover the lights at all. Ooh, that's like sticking way up. Yeah, look at it from multiple angles. Yeah, see the way this sticks out? Not sure that's gonna work. Let's try to give it a rotate this way a little bit. Yeah, maybe. And we'll give it another like, puzzle piece. Okay, I think I can work with that. And I also have another piece of ivy that is meant for corners. So we're going to throw that in there, and we're going to go ahead and rotate. Oh, shoot. Not that. Which way? Oh. Is that the right angle? It looks like it. Okay. Whoops. Alright, let's make sure we click on the right thing. It does say what it is. Alright, so let's go ahead and rotate that one all the way around. So that is obviously not the right one. It's this one. Yeah. Okay. So this one unfortunately does have a front and back. Alright, so let's put that to that side. Alright, and we're gonna scale this down too, because there's a lot there. And then I'm gonna use the page down and my arrow keys to oh, I thought I turned clipping on. Why is it? Oh, it must be outside of the plot. Yeah, it is. Okay. Whoops. Alright, let's move that over just a tad. I want to try to cover that header as much as possible, since it doesn't exactly match. Alright, so that works for me. Now, I gotta figure out how to rotate this, because unfortunately it does have a front and back, I feel like, because that does look backwards. Whoop. I didn't know I could do that. Yeah, I need to rotate it the other way and still have it hang down. I mean, I guess I could do this, right? Here, let me go back into the advanced tools and make sure we got the right one selected. And we're gonna move that down a little bit. Oh, good. Yeah, that covers it perfectly. And we're behind. All right, I think that will work there. And we'll actually just leave it at the scale that it's at. And then we're gonna throw in one more to cover this backside too. And again, we're gonna go ahead. Actually, I was able to rotate it just by doing that. Might be better, yeah, to get the... Nope. Okay, right there. Now we're gonna use our advanced tools and get that one situated. We're gonna zoom in just a little bit. Ooh. Only problem with it being really tall. Now, I could easily fix that by switching into my bird form. Okay. Alright, I think I like that. I do feel like we could do just a tad bit more to dress it up. But again, paying attention to my budget, we're at 33 out of 250. But I really like the way that ivy looks. So I'm happy with it. And then I do feel like it might be a little bare on the sides. But you know what? We're going to leave it like that for now. Because now we need to address how we're going to... So, things that I'm thinking about that I want to add into this yard. Because again, I don't have a good plan just like laid out. I'm, you know, just winging it here. I definitely want some type of water feature, whether it be a pond or... I would prefer it to be a pond. I really want to keep the outside looking natural. So I want to keep it as natural as possible. And then I would also like to have a cute little sitting picnic area right here, so obviously we can enjoy that view, or maybe even a swing. And then I figured we can add trees and stuff over here. Maybe we can put the water, so if I put the water here, we could still have a porch. It would just kind of have to be like a meander around. Like that. To the front. Okay, so actually we do have a lot more to think of, and I don't want to make this video too long. So for now, I think we're going to call that good. However, in the next episode, I will definitely address this entryway. Because again, once we get the porch or entry put down, that's also going to be another hardscape, so it's not going to move. And I really feel like we should get this done before we start plopping anything else down. Thank you for coming along with me as we bring this chapter of the quest to a close. Please smack that like button, hit follow or subscribe, and leave your inspiration in the comments below. Until next time, stay awesome, stay inspired, and thank you.